Okay, this morning's reading, we're going to read chapter 2 of Neville Goddard's I Come with a Sword. We're going to read chapter 2, I Come with a Sword, from I Know My Father by Neville Goddard. This book is amazing, and I'm just going to read the chapters separately. I was working them into readings, but they're important enough to just have separately. So, before you can enter into that peace which passeth all understanding, you must first be slain of all the illusions that now enslave you, the illusion of divisions. Here we are talking about separation, which is exactly what we're talking about in the Course in Miracles right now. If you are identified with race, creed, or color, and hear that which you are identified, criticized, and condemned, you will be automatically hurt by such criticism. Immediately the Me Too movement comes to mind, where I would see people sharing, or something would come out with the Me Too movement, and suddenly any woman that had had any experience like that was just in so much pain on social media. And I really get this for that, because it's like, wow, if you're really identified with a group, or even we could say BLM or any of the stuff that happened with COVID, when people feel that they are identified with something and it's criticized or condemned in any way, they take it all on, even if they didn't live through that scenario, and completely identify with that scenario, and it regurgitates all of this pain. And I've done that too. And so it's also something that's in Buddhism a lot, right? This is why letting go of attachments brings you peace. That's that whole practice in Buddhism, and that's really what Neville is talking about here, right? You got to get rid of those attachments. Oh, here we go. Every attachment is a bar in your self-created prison. He says it. This is from the 30s. I don't think he was in any way related to Buddhism, although he did have some Kabbalistic training, to my understanding. Your only escape lies in non-attachment. Non-attachment to your race, your gender, your color, your body, anything identified with this world. You must leave all and follow me. In Christ, there is neither Greek nor Jew, bond nor free. Your present attachments are rooted in you because of your present conception of yourself. Your conception of yourself is the measuring rod by which you measure the world. All things are judged in relationship to your present conception of yourself. Every man's conception of himself is a vibrant note in the cosmic symphony, which note automatically determines the value of all notes in relationship to itself. Every man's conception of himself is a vibrant note in the cosmic symphony, which note automatically determines the value of all notes in relationship to itself. Okay, so we view everyone else as in relationship to how we view ourselves. Change your conception of yourself, revalue yourself, and you will automatically change your world. I read this before, and I swear it applies to me more now than when I read this a few weeks ago. This is why it's so good to circle around these concepts and keep rereading. Man has always played the losing game by attempting to change his world, while he himself remained with his present values or conception of himself. Jesus discovered this law. So instead of changing men, he changed himself. I think I had a rant that I haven't posted yet, but will, about this exact point. Jesus is an ideal for us to follow, not an idol. When we put him on a cross and make him an idol, he's unachievable. We don't have to live like him. This is what Jesus did. He was as divine as I am divine. He just got it. He graduated first. He understood that instead of changing man, he had to change himself. He said, and now I sanctify myself, that they also might be sanctified through the truth. I change myself, I change other people. He found himself to be the truth of all that he saw his world to be. Truth is the sword that slays all but itself. And I am, your awareness, is the truth. Therefore, to be identified with anything other than being is to be enslaved or limited by that with which you are identified. You eternally objectify that which you are conscious of being, so you forever move in a world that is the perfect personification of that which you know yourself to be. To the pure, all things are pure. This is a great hurdle to those who are constantly condemning the world. This is exactly what we have going on right now. There is therefore no condemnation to those in Jesus Christ. In Christ Jesus. Sorry, Christ is the connected point between all of us. So to the pure, all things are pure. And that's the point of power. If I'm pure, which we all think we're pure, but we think everybody else is bad, then in that means that we don't think we're pure because we're always projecting out. And Neville is so connected to the Course in Miracles, it's wild to me. But to the pure, maybe he wrote the Course in Miracles, but to the pure, all things are pure. So it was weird because I had a coach at one point say to me, Emily, you just need to start repeating that you're pure and innocent all the time. And so I do. Because when I know I'm pure, everybody else shows up as pure around me. And I want to purify the world in the sense of everyone feeling that they're innocent and good. I know everyone is innocent and good, and I want to see that reality around me. It is recorded that the crowds left Jesus when he revealed the working of the law in these words, "No man cometh unto me, save the Father in me draw him, and I and my Father are one." Your Father is your I am awareness. So he's saying no one comes to me unless my I am is drawing them to me. They could not believe that they were the cause of all they saw their world to be. And we don't want to take that kind of ownership, do we? After thousands of years, it is still the great stumbling block to all who see the world as something to be changed on the outside. You and your conception of yourself are one. Your conception of yourself is the image you have made of your Father. I was just thinking about that quite literally. I'm like, oh, wow, you're considered as the image you made. Wow. This image fashions your world in your likeness, be it good, bad, or indifferent. So whatever I think about myself makes the world that way too. Your Father is your awareness who limits you to that which you are aware of being. It's creating what I think I am. This goes back even to the 4 agreements and talking about everyone being in our own dream and that we're sort of putting spells on other people with our own words and our own beliefs. And that's how we're creating the world around us to be just what we think ourselves to be. If you would change your world, do so in truth by knowing yourself to be all you see the world to be. You are not what you are because of anything in the world. On the contrary, the world is what it is because of what you are. The what being the measure or value you've placed upon yourself. In short, your conception of yourself is the mold the conceiver, your true self, uses to people your world. So something is actually peopling your world. Wow, this is so apropos for where I am. My conception of myself is the mold the conceiver uses to people my world. So anything I'm seeing around me is because of that's how I think of myself. And what's frustrating me right now is in the professional space, I feel like the wrong people are showing up. But that's because that's where I view myself. It's as simple as that. If I don't think I deserve more, more isn't going to show up. And of course, where I think I'm totally deserving, the job hires me on the spot. But it's way below where I want to be. Or I know I am, and so this is where the confusion's happening. So I get to shift my perception of myself, and everything around me will change. Begin to transform the world by claiming yourself to be that which you desire to see expressed in the world, pure and innocent. Follow the example of Jesus, who made himself one with God and found it not strange or robbery to do the work of God. Freedom is not won by the sweat of the brow. Stop wrestling with the world. It is only a reflector. Jacob was freed only as he loosed that with which he wrestled. Likewise, you will be free only as you follow his example and loose your problem by not identifying yourself with it. For that which is bound in heaven, so let's look at this. Likewise, you'll be free only as you follow it. Loose your problem by not identifying yourself with it. For that which is bound in heaven, consciousness is bound on earth, and that which is loosed in heaven is loosed on earth. As long as I let it go here, it'll show up in my life. And I was just making a video about that when I realized, when I just stopped thinking about dating in general and, just said I was going to die alone and I loosed my problem and all my resistance about relationships in heaven. And so I stopped paying attention to it. And so it loosed the problem on earth, and my ideal love and relationship was brought to me. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. I am the truth. So my awareness of being is the truth. So in reality, to know yourself, the conditioned, is to be free from that which in your blindness you believed yourself to be. Leave all and just be me. Powerful words, Neville. Perfect for where I'm at. to realize that we are creating our reality. The world is just reflecting where I'm at. And if I want to change something, it's with me. And I am. And so, well, I just use the words I am. But I am changing myself. And so it's just about patience and seeing what shows up around me. I mean, I have an incredible area of my life that is thriving, and truly it was because I stopped trying to mess with it and apply my conception of myself to getting something, right? I just shut it down, and in that I loosed earth and what could show up around me by removing the binds I had in my creative mechanism. So you can redefine yourself or change your conception of yourself, but if that's too much work, you can also just stop thinking about it altogether. And because it won't be in heaven, you will loose its binds on earth. So in other words, you know, you won't be forcing it to be something different by the way you project out. And since we're always asking for what we want and it's given, when I get out of the way by thinking about it too much and focusing my creative mechanism on what can or cannot be, then what I've asked for can really show up, because the fourth dimensional self, my I am consciousness, already wants to bring me what brings me joy and what I want. I just need to get out of the way by either changing my conception of myself or just getting it out of my mind altogether. Those are my two options. So with that, I'm going to go do something else for a little bit and process. I hope that meant something to you. Enjoy. Have a beautiful, blessed day.